Today we're continuing our look at the Skywalker Saga, or rather the important stories that took place in between the major episodes of the saga. Last week we covered the Clone Wars in between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. This week we're going in between episodes 3 and 4. Charles Soule's Darth Vader comic picks up immediately after the events of Revenge of the Sith. We follow the new Sith Lord on his very first mission from Palpatine to hunt down a surviving Jedi, kill him, take his lightsaber, and bleed it to make the blade red. What's left of Anakin is tempted to return to the light side of the Force, but he resists and cements himself as the apprentice of Darth Sidious. He is given control of the Imperial Inquisitors, who are responsible for destroying any additional survivors of the Jedi Purge, as well as collecting Force-sensitive children for a mysterious initiative called Project Harvester. Their hunt for Jedi takes them to Mon Cala, where they imprison the king and conquer the planet. Finally, Vader builds his fortress on Mustafar with the help of an ancient Sith Lord named Momin, whose essence is trapped in an old helmet. Vader's goal is to reach Padme in the afterlife, and he kind of does, but it doesn't go the way he expects. In E.K. Johnston's book Ahsoka, the title character lives in hiding. Having left the Jedi before Order 66, she was spared, but she has a run-in with one of Vader's Inquisitors and defeats him. Jumping ahead a few years to Paul S. Kemp's Lords of the Sith, Palpatine is still putting his apprentice through the ringer. The pair are stranded on Ryloth in the midst of an uprising, and Vader delves deeper and deeper into the dark side to keep himself and his master alive. Not long after their escape from Ryloth, he teams up with Wilhuff Tarkin to hunt down a group of rebels who are thwarting the ongoing construction of the Death Star in James Luceno's book, Tarkin. Jumping over to Corellia, Ray Carson's book Most Wanted tells the story of how a young man named Han Solo fell in love with a fellow orphan named Kira. Their story continues in Solo, a Star Wars story, which follows the pair as they're separated for 3 years and then reunited. Han becomes friends with the Wookiee Chewbacca and comes to own the famous Millennium Falcon, but Kira chooses to leave him and instead work for Maul, who is revealed to still be alive and is now in charge of a criminal syndicate called Crimson Dawn. On Alderaan, Leia reaches the age of 16 in Claudia Gray's book Leia, Princess of Alderaan. She learns of her parents' involvement with the growing rebellion against the Empire and decides to join herself. In Star Wars Rebels, she meets Kanan Jarrus, who has survived the Jedi Purge and has a Padawan of his own named Ezra. They team up with Ahsoka, who has also joined the rebellion by this point. Vader and his few remaining Inquisitors chase them across the galaxy until they meet on Malachor, where Maul also happens to be stranded. The Inquisitors are killed, and Ahsoka faces her former master to allow Kanan and Ezra to escape. Maul also heads off to seek revenge against Obi-Wan Kenobi. Ezra races to warn the Jedi, inadvertently leading Maul straight to him, but the former Sith Lord is killed after realizing Obi-Wan is protecting the boy he believes to be the Chosen One. On the planet Lothal, Palpatine works to gain access to a place called the World Between Worlds, which would give him the power to control space and time. Ezra is able to open the gateway there and save Ahsoka from her duel with Vader. Together they thwart the Emperor's attempts to access it himself. Back on Mustafar, a group of rebels use intelligence from Rebel Captain Cassian Andor to infiltrate Vader's castle. They nearly recover an ancient weapon called the Proto-Saber, but are forced to retreat. Days later, Vader captures a Force-sensitive smuggler who holds the key to unlocking the ruins that lie beneath his fortress, which could give him power over life and death itself. It's unknown how that adventure ends, but Vader may have been distracted when the Death Star finally completed construction in the film Rogue One. A rebel task force, including Cassian Andor, steal the plans to the battle station, transmitting them to Princess Leia. She escapes the fight, and Vader chases after her, completely unaware that she is his daughter. And that's all the major stuff that happened in between episodes 3 and 4. I know I skipped or glazed over a lot of stories, but I wanted to focus on things that directly affected Anakin, Luke, Leia, Han, and potential storytelling elements that might come into play in The Rise of Skywalker, like the World Between Worlds. It's a long shot, but hey, the Emperor had to survive somehow. But now you should have a very basic understanding of what happened to the Skywalkers during that time period. Next week, we'll cover the stories that take place in between A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back. Until then, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.